What if I told you this commercial isn't from the 1990s, but I made it last month?
I've never seen so many filters in one store.
There's so much cool stuff.
And I can buy or rent them.
Wow! Now this is a filter store!
Ordinary filter companies don't even come close to Prism Lens FX. You've just got to see it to know what we mean. At Prism Lens FX, we have one motto.
Wow!
Wow!
Wow! Keep it in camera.
Come discover the Prism Lens FX difference.
So I set out to write and direct a full-blown 1990s blockbuster style ad that, you know, was big, music, cheesy, kind of over the top, and made you feel like you were a kid again watching those classic commercials from your couch on a Saturday morning in between cartoons. And if I did that or made you feel nostalgic in any way while watching that commercial, then I did my job as the director. So I had the idea for this commercial well over probably a year ago, before we even started building out the store. We knew we were going to build out our first Prism Lens FX store in the vein of a classic video store. And with that in mind, I had already started like kind of pre-writing down ideas of, you know, how I wanted the commercials to look and feel, with the general concept of like, hey, we should make this feel and we should shoot a commercial that feels like it came from the 90s and feels like a blockbuster commercial, just being that the store itself is a video store from that era. And so naturally, opening up the store, we could have just shot some generic content, modern day, short form content commercials in the style of something that's a little more modern and fresh and current. But again, with the idea that the store is a video store, it was my intention that when you watched this commercial, that you felt like you kind of stepped back in time a little bit, and that there was this wave of maybe nostalgia that brushed over you. And I thought that would be the best way to write and direct a commercial for the new store, to promote the new store. And I think just based on the interaction and the comments that we received online from the content that we've dropped, that was a success and received very, very well. So in terms of inspiration, there were two different commercials that I pulled from online when just, you know, kind of researching, YouTube searching like classic blockbuster commercials. And there was a 1989 commercial, and then I think like a 1990-91 commercial that I really pulled most of the inspiration from. And that's what these stills are from in these kind of pre-production documents, which I'll talk about the pre-production in a second and what I did for that. But I used these stills from those commercials as the inspiration and references for what we would be shooting on the day. There's a few things that I've been doing recently to work on kind of like prepping for a shoot, which is kind of outlining the set, drawing it out on a piece of paper. And then like here you can see kind of I drew out the video store, and then I had our different camera placements of where I saw the shots taking place. Same thing here, commercial number one, which aligns with commercial number one here. So I pulled screenshots and references to the type of shots that I wanted to get, the styles of shot, wrote them down, gave this a marker. Let's just say this is camera or shot number one. Then I would have a camera placement here with the number one. So I knew, okay, this shot, which says intro, tripod, locked, action, slightly step into and turn into frame. I've never seen this kind of, I've never seen so many videos in one life. So I kind of just, I had the screenshot or reference shot of how I wanted it to look. I gave the shot style, the action of what the characters and talent are doing on camera. And then I labeled that shot and labeled it on my kind of topographical map here that I drew of where I wanted all the shots to take place. So that's kind of just a rough look at how I produced or went into pre-production on this project. So for example, on the second commercial we did, here's again a top down. And for the first shot, camera number one says tripod, locked, wide angle. Actor leans close up in a frame and says the dialogue line and listens to a response, and then listens to the response and then responds with wow. So yeah, just again, having that for every kind of shot that I wanted to get. So I have that listed for every shot, and then I have a coordinating number listed with the different camera positions here. And so I kind of had, that was pre-production, and a lot of times on set when I go through a lot of pre-production like this, it's just so in my head that I don't even need to look at these things, but I did have these documents on set during production and was marking them off as we went. And this honestly worked really well for me, and we breezed through everything and got everything that we needed. Some of it changed a little bit here, but it's always good to kind of have an idea going into the day that you can just have for yourself, but also to show like the DP and the producer and the gaffer, and just kind of get your vision across so they can see what we're trying to achieve on the day. So in terms of the actual production day, it was a relatively short shoot day. It was like about 6 hours in total. Not too complicated. We pretty much roamed around with two or three different lights. I've released a whole behind the scenes breakdown video on the, like a raw behind the scenes video on the making of that, where it feels like you can kind of join us on set. I'll link that in the video description below. That's over on Prism Lens Effects' YouTube channel. It's a very in-depth, raw behind the scenes look where you can kind of, yeah, like I said, join us on set. So I'm not gonna touch on that too much here. We kept the setups very light and low key, where we could easily move around. I know we kind of used around 2 to 3 different Amaran lights. One that's more of a softer kind of 1x1 Amaran, or yeah, Amaran F22C, I believe, as like always kind of our fronty key light. Just knowing that like a lot of the commercials back then weren't super moody for the most part, and in instances like this was very kind of high key. So having that panel just off to the side of the camera always acted as our key light, and then we usually had some sort of like punchy back edge light that we used to like create the hair light and the edge light to separate them a little bit. But that was it in terms of lighting. Pretty low. The crew was a small crew. I believe there was like 6 of us, kind of all wearing different hats, but I was the director. I edited the project, and then I wrote the project. Tom was the DP. Then we had Eddie and Julian kind of first ACing and gaffing, switching between those 2 roles, and then Sam produced the project, and Marty on BTS, and that was pretty much it as far as the crew. Very small crew. So in terms of the edit, I edited all the commercials. I really didn't do much to the color, just kind of boosted the saturation a little bit. Didn't do too much. Again, wanted it to feel not too overly done, considering like it just how amazing and the raw image looked coming out of camera. Edit wise, I think the core thing that I did that helped sell the entire commercial overall is through the voiceover that we had written and recorded, to the character talent's audio, and even the music. Added a low pass filter, which gave it that like kind of muffled, not super clear modern day audio, because if I were to take the commercial as it is, even with the music laid in and those visuals, the audio is just too crisp. It's too clean for today's era. Audio back then wasn't that clean, crisp, and so I had to kind of like dial it back and degrade it a bit. And so I used a low pass filter to kind of create that vibe that you feel, and then found some, you know, royalty free like 80s, 90s music on YouTube. And yeah, pretty simple. There's not like too much heavy effects or anything. It's pretty much a straightforward cut, J cut to the next clip, etc. So yeah, simple edit. It was fun though to really just try and create something that felt like it was from that era. And I think ultimately we did a really good job, given just that this was kind of like a fun, small budget passion project to promote our new store. Yeah, in summation, that's a little look into this project as a whole. We just opened this store. It's officially open for business now in LA. So if you're a fan of Prism Lens Effects, even if you aren't a fan, if you ever need a filter locally in LA to pick up or buy or rent, you can go to this store. I'll put that information in the video description as well. And I think I'll play 1 or 2 of the final commercials at the end of this video as well. If you want to see more videos like this, breaking down projects, talking about projects, hopefully I did a good job. And if you want to see more of that, please let me know. Would love to share more of like my kind of process as a filmmaker, if that's something that you guys want. Again, I make these videos not for myself, but to help you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys find some value in these, and we'll stay tuned for the next one. Maybe drop a like, comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But yeah, see you in the next video. Peace.